What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for rolling with Popo Jones tonight. We're going to be looking at the C7 Corvette and giving you 15 tips or tricks that you may just not have known. Tip number one. Have you ever heard of, or maybe even had the issue yourself, where your brakes had locked up after you had parked it in the garage, say for a week or so? You didn't know what was going on and maybe your car didn't even want to move. Well, it's really easy. Most of the time that takes place right after washing your car, parking it in the garage, and not allowing for the rotors and the brake pads to dry off. You need to drive your car down the road before you park it back in the garage after doing so. But if you didn't and you park it, leave it there for say a week roughly, what's going to happen is your rotors and your brake pads, they oxidize and they fuse together and they cause it to lock up. Now it's really easy to break loose on this. You put the car in reverse or drive whichever way you need to go, and you have to put a little bit of gas to it in order to get it to break loose. After that, take it down on the road and get up to speed, 60, 70 miles an hour, and brake hard a few times. It'll clean off the rotors, get rid of all the rust, and you'll be good to go. Tip number two. Over the last several generations of Corvettes, we've had an all-electric system when it comes to opening and closing your doors. There's no handles on the back side of or on the front side of your doors. So what do you do whenever your battery's dead and you're not able to open up your car door? Well, that's pretty simple. It starts with your key fob. There's a key right here in the bottom of it. There's a little button here that we're going to press at the bottom of the key fob and pull the chrome portion out, and we have our key. Now that doesn't help us completely because we still need to be able to get into the car, and obviously there's not a keyhole here on the side of the door. So what do? Well, we go to the back of the trunk and we're going to pop it up where there's a pull tab to open up the doors. Let me show you where it's at. Follow me over this way. So we come over here to the back side of the car, we take our key fob, and right here underneath the lettering where the license plate is at, over on this side right here, just up underneath, there's a little keyhole to insert our key. So we're going to do that now. We're going to reach down here, and it's just right over on this side actually. And once we insert that, we're going to turn it counterclockwise. And I don't know if you can hear that, but our trunk just popped, and here it is right here. Our trunk is up. Now one of the things that you're going to find out is whether or not it's your key fob that's dead or it's the battery in the car that's dead. Because if it's the key fob that's dead and it was locked, then your alarm just got set off and your alarm is going off on your car. But if it's the battery on the car, then of course your alarm's not going to go off. So that'll tell you where the issue lies, either in the key fob or the battery on the vehicle. Now let's assume here for a second that it's your key fob. Alarm's not going off and we need to get into the vehicle. We've popped the back of the trunk. Now how do we open the driver's side door? Well, there's a pull tab over on this side. Come over here. That pull tab is right here, just on the driver's side of the door or the driver's side of the car. We're going to grab that pull tab and we're going to pull it. We're going to pull it twice. There we go. We make sure that we got it released. Now we can go over to the driver's side and open up that door. Follow me around on this side. Now our door is going to open right up. And that's how the key fob works. Tip number three. We've got an extra storage box back here in the back of the C7 Corvette that's hidden that you might not know of. Come over here and check this out. Right over on the, again, driver's side of the car, underneath our cargo net right here, I'm going to scoot that out of the way. The box is located on the driver's side of the vehicle in the trunk space. We have a little bit of a cutout right here and a pull tab, and if we pull that up, we have storage space. I use it to store all of my cleaning supplies as well as a set of jumper cables.
That's so cool.
Tip number four. Well, we talked about what do you do when you have a dead key fob, but what do you do when you have that dead car battery? Well, after you've gotten into the trunk, this is exactly where you're going to go to jump off the car. Back over here on this side, the passenger side, is where your battery is located. Let's show you where it's at. Come on over. All right, on the passenger side corner of the back, we have the carpet here that we can lift up. And once we do so, we have a foam cover right here. Now this foam cover is not garbage. It's meant to be there, and you don't want to throw it away. Now you'll notice a cutout here for a tow hook. Some of the vehicles came equipped with the tow hook and some of them didn't. If you've got one, you definitely want to keep a hold of that, because in the event you ever find yourself in a ditch, well, you're going to need that tow hook. So just underneath that is where our battery is located. So now you know where to jump your car off. All right, tip number five, at least I think we're on number five. Well, that tow hook we just talked about, that foam underneath the carpet, where does that go? It goes right up here. This grill on the C7 Stingray will pull out. You can remove it just on this section, and the tow hook slides in, and then you can twist it into place. Now on your Grand Sport and your Z06 and ZR1, the grill is a much wider spacing, and that tow hook will actually slide in there without you having to remove the grill insert, and you can hook it onto the vehicle so that you can pull yourself on and off the track if you need it. Tip number 6. This is a quick and easy tip, and it's not actually designed for this purpose, but if you open up your door, I use this section right here to grab a hold of when I'm going to close my door and close as so. That keeps me from putting my fingers all over my paint and leaving fingerprints behind. Tip number 7, another quick and easy tip. When you have your hood up and you're going to bring it down, best practice is to place your thumb right in the middle of it and push it down like so. These hoods are so flexible and so lightweight that if you do that on one side, that you could actually cause it to not latch. So if you grab it from the center, you have an equal distribution of your weight across both sides, causing it to latch perfectly every time and minimizing the fingerprints that you placed on your hood. Tip number 8. This one goes primarily for your Corvettes that are 2014 and 2015. This is more of a problem than it is going to be a trick, because on the 14s and 15s, there's a bulletin that General Motors issued for the torque tube. The torque tubes can give out on these cars as the bushings wear down. To replace the bushings, they also have to replace the torque tube. In addition to that, they may have to replace the flywheel, which thankfully when they do this, they replace it with Z06 parts and solve the issue so that you don't have to deal with it again. It is, though, a very expensive fix. Tip number 9, I believe we're on? Tip number 9. On all of your Corvettes, the C7, one of the issues that is a common problem is carbon buildup in the injectors. When you have the carbon buildup, it causes the injectors to stick, causing fuel to continuously leak into the engine, which creates further issues. Now, it's an easy fix, but it does require to replace the injectors, all the injectors that have that carbon buildup. If you're going to replace one, it's wise to go ahead and replace them all. It's not a super expensive fix. If you go to your dealership, expect to pay somewhere around $2,000 to $2,500 to have all of those replaced. Well, whichever tip we're on at this point, we're going to come back over here to the trunk of the vehicle. On the 2014s and 15s, we have a full manual close system. However, everything after 15 features a soft close system. In order to use it, you bring down your hood, swing it down, and then in my case, it latched completely, but on a newer vehicle, it's going to close partially, and then the mechanism grabs a hold of the latch on the trunk and pulls it down completely. Tip 11, tip 12, it's one of the tips. Whenever we talked about earlier on getting in the vehicle whenever you have a dead key fob or dead car battery, well, this is what you do when you have a dead key fob. You jump in here and you want to crank up your car, but it's a push to start. But there's a little pocket right here in the steering column. If we take our key fob and slide it all the way in, the antenna and the receiver for both the key fob and the vehicle will make contact at that point and allow you to start your car even with a remote start. Our next tip is a really big one. This is the performance exhaust system that comes on the Stingrays. Provides an extra 5 horsepower if you got that equipped on your vehicle. A lot of folks want to leave it open all the time because it provides a nicer sound to the vehicle, but not everybody knows how to actually do that, which led to some people pulling the fuses in their cars. That's not necessary. I'm going to show you how to leave it open all the time, no matter what driving mode you're on. Using the toggle wheel here in the center console, whenever you turn that, you have multiple driving modes, which you find on the display of your instrument cluster. Weather mode, eco mode, tour mode, sport mode, track mode. No matter what mode you're in, you can always leave the performance exhaust system on so that you get that better sound. How do we do that? From the home screen, we're going to press settings. Once we're there, we'll hit driving mode. Now, once our driving mode is selected, we can hit engine sound management. From there, on the 2014s, you're only going to have 2 options here: your auto mode selector or off. Now, on every year after that, you're going to have multiple choices. These choices will be weather mode, tour mode, sport mode, track mode, and so on. However, if you just select off, then what you're doing is telling the vehicle to not control the exhaust based upon the mode that you've selected with the toggle wheel on the center console. If you leave it on auto with mode selector, then whenever I turn the wheel, it's going to change the way the exhaust opens up. I want mine open all the time, so I'm going to click off, and now my exhaust will always be open. There's no need to remove the fuse. Just go to the settings and change it there, and you'll have your performance exhaust system open up all the time. Our next tip or trick, whichever you want to call it, has to do with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. We've all grown very fond of this system over the last decade. It's an amazing system and it works great. However, on your 2014s and 2015s, we didn't have that option yet in the Corvette. From 16 to 19, you have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but it's not wireless. Even on the C8, your 2020s, still not wireless until 2021. But if you have a 14 and 15 and you're really missing the Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, you can add it to the vehicle. There are some upgrades out there. The best system that I have found comes from infotainment.com. It's a kind of an expensive system, but you replace two computers. One of them is underneath the dash here on the driver's side, and the second one is underneath the dash on the passenger side. You can swap out that system, which allows you to have the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It is still wired instead of wireless. There are two options though, an iOS 1 and an iOS 2, I believe is what they were called if I recall correctly. The iOS 2 provides that your system still functions with the built-in navigation if you purchased a 2LT or 3LT. If you have a 1LT, you don't have built-in navigation, and you would go with an IO1, or yes, IO1, that's correct. Now, you do not have to purchase the IO2, which is more expensive if you have a 2LT and 3LT. It just means that the antenna built into the car that allows for navigation will not have a place to connect to that computer. It will eliminate the built-in navigation that comes on the 2LT and 3LT. However, why would you use that in the first place if now you have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto when the maps on your phone are way better than what comes equipped in the 2LT or 3LT Stingray Corvette? This one is a secret you may or may not know, but on the front screen of your C7 Corvette, you can press that button and drop the screen open. There's a compartment back there that you can use to store items, belongings, and things of value. Now, if you're going to use a valet for your vehicle, you want somebody to park it for you, the nice thing is that you do have the ability to lock that box to keep people from being able to access it. In addition to locking that box, it also locks the glove box itself. Now, I'm going to show you how to access that and type in a code. We're going to go to settings, and then we're going to scroll to Valet Mode right here. We press on that. It's going to ask us to punch in a code. And this code is reset every single time you use the system. So in this case, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. It needs to be a 4-digit code. We'll hit enter. We're going to confirm the code, 1, 2, 3, 4, and lock. The system is now locked, and I can okay, that's on me. Valet Mode, enter code to unlock. Let's try that again. There we go. It's locked. All right, it's working properly. Now, if we go over here to open up our glove box, also locked. Can't do it. So if I want to take it out of that, if you look here on the screen, it'll show Valet Mode, enter code to unlock. Now, I want to point out, one other thing that this does is it cuts the audio off on the vehicle. Another cool thing, and I'm not 100% certain on the C7s, but on the C8s, it also activates the performance data recorder and puts it in a record mode. Anytime somebody gets in the vehicle, it also limits the speed. Now we're going to come back over here to the screen, and we're going to take it out of Valet Mode. We're going to do that by punching in the code again. 1, 2, 3, 4, unlock, and now we're out of Valet Mode. Our last tip for the day is going to have to do with something I'm not too much of a fan of about the C7 Corvette. That is that there's no real good place to store your phone inside the car. If you open up your cup holder, this is the best place that I've been able to come up with so far, unless you go online and you purchase a different clip to hold on to the phone itself. Now, there are a lot of products out there, and I've tested out a few of them. These products are going to wrap around or connect in one way or another to the handle right here in between the driver and the passenger next to the infotainment system. But the best system that I have found thus far, which unfortunately I don't have in my vehicle at this very moment, is the Pro Clip. The Pro Clip is a solid answer to this problem. Every other option that I've tried out there, I've not really been a fan of, or have had to throw away after it became defective for one reason or another. Anything with the leather straps that wraps around and Velcros together tends to stretch over time and leads to having to throw that away. But the Pro Clip always works great. Use the Pro Clip. Well, that's everything for today. Thank you for joining us here, Rolling with Popo Jones. I hope you enjoyed this video and the tips and tricks and found it useful. Thank my cameraman here for helping me out today.
Comment how I did, people.
He wants to know how we did. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Let us know what you think. Have any questions? Give us a comment.